My microphone. I had my microphone off, but I was speaking. Dandavat, Dandavat. So here I am, happily with you all. And the first face I see is Priya Sundari. Happy to see you with us. Govinda, Govinda. A busy lady and a busy team. A busy lady on a busy team. And lots of busy people. Sevarupa Devanasi busy. Brindavaneshri is busy. Busy doing many things, including looking after her family, as well as all the other things she does, and still time to come on Zoom in the night. So we appreciate very much. And Dana is with us. Axel is with us. Very happy always to see you, Axel. We are here to serve. So this is an opportunity. If you have some questions, we're happy to render the service to try to share what our gurus, what our masters indicated to us, as if we can, as best as we can. And Priyanana Devidasi, Sevarupa Devidasi, Kumkum Devidasi, and last but not least, Ganga Leela Didi is here too. Yes, Ganga Leela Didi, with us happily, with a heart. And I was going to say last but not least, we have Leela Moy Prabhu looking after us all during this time. And Lynn, oh, we just had actually a very nice view. You turned off your camera, but of beautiful blue skies and Krishna's nature. But here it is stormy wind and rain outside. You probably can't hear it, but it is happening. No, you can't hear it. I know Zoom cuts out the background sound. Anyway, all the plants will be very happy, the trees and everything else. All right, I don't have Facebook on as yet. Let's see whether I can, but those on Facebook, those on Zoom, and those seeing us all in any recorded version, happily having you with us. So first of all, let's give our obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. In appreciation of the devotees indeed. And, okay, now I see. All right. So, Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitangs Cha Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvije Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right, just quickly trying to connect onto Facebook because they're always happy to see who may be there. Oh, no internet connection. Okay. Man proposes.
Dandava pranams from Jagat Mohini Jiji, Madhava Prabhu, and pronounce this.
Okay, thank you very much, Leela Moy Prabhu. You are my living Facebook connection. One moment, otherwise I may have an electrical accident. One moment. You can chant any Kum Didi, you chant any verse you know. I just need to prevent an accident happening. One moment.
You're muted.
It was all very quiet, but I'm back.
Maharaj, in the time it took you, it took me that long to unmute myself. So if you would like to kindly proceed, everyone will find that very enlivening.
I'm very polite. I'm being very like brahmachari ashram kind of thing. I'm going for a flight this morning, and I'm trying to dry a T-shirt which is a little bit thick. So I have it, near the heater, but I just didn't want it. I heard the heater complaining. I didn't want it too near the heater. Because it's raining, as I told you, so I couldn't get the T-shirt to dry. Okay, all right, so mundane challenge is over with, but here we are. So, Kumkum Didi, no, let us come to you, please. If we pass the microphone to you, let us continue.
Right. Well, I did recently give myself a homework assignment, and it's quite beautiful. I'm still reading in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and the verses 8 through 11 are so important to us all. And as everyone knows, Srila Guru Maharaj comments extensively on these 4 verses. And so that is what I was going to read about, because some of them are extremely vital for speaking to anyone, including newcomers or fellow travelers or people who are far along. Everyone loves to hear. For example, all 4 verses, 8 through 11, are essential, but what made me think of it was when I was rereading verse 10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam jaina mam upayanti te. To those devotees who are always lovingly engaged in my service, I give the divine inspiration by which they can come to me. And this is very encouraging, of course. It's quite simple. If we want to go back to our original home to learn about what it will be like when we get there, as well as to how to get there in the most expedient and smooth way. And it's about being engaged in service with love. So this is Krishna's promise. And one thing I noticed in the beginning of the commentary, Guru Maharaj says, the Lord says, the highest group of my servitors whose devotion was described in the previous verse by the word ramanti, which means ecstatic, are those who are constantly engaged, satata yukta, in my service in consorthood, madhura ras, with heartfelt love, bhajatam priti purvakam. Then he says that he will give them further inspiration or inner instruction by which they can come to him. And this caused me to pause and consider, which I had never done before. He's saying inspiration or inner instruction. So this helps us to understand more about what true inspiration is. And I know I often might doubt what I am sensing on the inner level, whether this is true instruction. But for that, we get the help of the Vaishnavas, and we can compare it to our outer instruction as well. So we can see when there's a total overlap. We can gauge by what we think is our inspiration, by what is it that the devotees actually are telling us, how are they instructing us. They will never misguide us. So this becomes our inspiration. This is part of the process of trying to serve him with love. It's all part of the one big plan that he has for us, that's given to us by those great saintly devotees who represent him in this world where we can experience that immediately.
and look and see in the present time how much nectar has come out. I mean, nectar, we've become used to that word, but how much nectar has come out by the interaction between devotees. And we're listening here. I mean, we're always listening to something, but we're listening here in the temple room at the moment to a devotee who I know quite well, and Guru Maharaj, and they're having a conversation. But by the conversation, things came out from Guru Maharaj, which I'm sure, well, unlikely to have come out if there wasn't some like prod or some necessity to express a little forcefully what Guru Maharaj was saying. And it came from a bit of an inappropriate statement by a devotee to Guru Maharaj. But Guru Maharaj, in his excitement, actual excitement or his vigor to assert what is correct, then Guru Maharaj came out with such sweet things. And so there, really, it was also, sharing something, but between guru and disciple, and whether we say guru and disciple, between the different levels of realization, because each have got some expression, they're expressing what they're feeling, then so much came out. So this is just one example, but the whole of the books that we have today of Srila Guru Maharaj, that they're made up from discourses. If devotees hadn't been sitting in front of Guru Maharaj, they would have been kept, in the chamber of his heart and in the chamber of those few that Guru Maharaj has had, if you like, similar conversations or conversations on that matter, that subject matter with only a few of the senior godbrothers of Guru Maharaj, the senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavan Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So on every level, this meeting between the devotees is coming to give us something special. But that inspiration and instruction, the crossing over of inspiration and instruction, this is also an interesting point. And then Guru Maharaj bringing this to Madhura Rasa, as you were reading there in his commentary. This is why, too, we have to hear the Gita and any scripture from the devotees. And according to our adhika, our capacity to digest, our capacity to hear, we will hear, because the same people can sit in the same talk and come out with different instructions to the heart, different inspiration from the heart. As Guru Maharaj said, actually, that if Krishna had spoken the same instruction to Arjuna, to Uddhava would have got something a little different from it and would have left the battlefield, gone off in another direction. Not another direction away from Krishna consciousness, but according to the inspiration that came to him. And Kumkum did it very suitable to bring us to the Bhagavad Gita. You see how Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, they are quoting Gita, even in the highest discussions.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. And why Guru Maharaj, why should Gurudev chose Bhagavad Gita to put on the chest of a person who's leaving their body, a faithful person who's leaving their body?
Yes.
I thought this is also very, very relevant to help us understand that everything is there. Actually, my dear mother, who passed away several years ago now, we try to introduce our dear ones, and those who are dear to us, we do try to introduce them to why we've come to Krishna consciousness. And so I know she got at least as far as the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, because where Srila Prabhupada, this is the Bhagavad Gita as it is, saying there is no need for any other book than Bhagavad Gita. In his introduction, he does say something like this. And my dear mother, when she saw that I got more and more books, and she said, "Why do you have more books? I see that everything, you don't need any other book than this one book."
Wonderful.
So this way, she was preaching to me, and I thought, okay, yes, I'm happy that she's reading the book. Is that Dayal Nitai Prabhu sitting beside? Yes, it is. I only can see a little picture on the top of your head. Yes, Dayal Nitai Prabhu. Okay, sorry, come to Didi to be diverted, but I just saw Dayal Nitai Prabhu here, so I wanted to greet him too. And Hare Krishna. And Annapurna. I saw Annapurna's name just for a moment, but not here. Trying to connect maybe. Annapurna in Moscow. No, I saw her name for a moment, or was I dreaming? I don't know. I was dreaming. Hare Krishna. Yes, come, please tell us more.
Actually, I was also noticing, and now I've just begun Sri Prabhupada Jivanamrita again. And the forward to that is a very beautiful and extremely deep, even though it's on very high level, even though it's quite basic. So I'd like to read that as well.
Oh, please do, yes. And that Prabhupada Jivanamritam is dear to all of the devotees.
Yes. More and more Srila Gurudev's not only instruction or even suggestion, but request for us all to read this daily is so valuable. And in this forward, in the very beginning, he is explaining in such a beginner way, while also taking it to the highest level, what it is that we're doing. He says, because the soul is a particle of consciousness, it is endowed with free will. Eliminating free will, only gross matter remains. Without independence, the soul could not progress from bondage to liberation, and his ultimate salvation would have been impossible. But his spirit of exploitation is a foreign force, an intoxicant, a miscalculation that surrounds his independence. Life's objectives may be scientifically analyzed as threefold: exploitation, renunciation, and dedication. The most common tendency is in those engaged in exploiting other persons, species, or elements for mundane sense enjoyment. They desire to materially elevate themselves in the present environment, and thus they are described as elevationists. A more sober class discover the severe, equal, and opposite reactions to worldly pursuits, and they engage in renunciation of the world in search of an equilibrium comparable to a deep, dreamless slumber. By being unawake to the world, they hope to escape its concomitant reactions and sufferings. Thus, their goal is liberation, and they are known as salvationists or liberationists. But through the correct interpretation of the revealed scriptures by learned votaries such as Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Ramanuja, the devotees of divinity know the pursuits of both exploitation and renunciation as not only fruitless, but injurious to real progress. The normal, wholesome, and happy plane is in the life of dedication, without exploiting or borrowing anything from the environment, and without attempting to artificially renounce it. One who is sincere to dedicate himself naturally comes into contact with a higher and more subtle plane of life. By his readiness to give and serve, he will attain to a higher society and achieve an appropriate master. The enjoying spirit forces one to be associated with a lower section, to control and enjoy. And the renouncing spirit allures even the scholars with its prestigious, so-called prestigious superiority over exploitation. Thus it is more dangerous, just as a half-truth is more dangerous than falsehood. As it is difficult to awaken someone from the deepest possible sleep, the liberationists may remain for incalculable time within their cell of non-differentiated liberation, but the higher existence will invite the service of one who desires to purely dedicate himself without remuneration. So, of course, he continues to explain about the glories of being involved with seva, selfless seva to our kind Lord. But it's so amazing how he explains very clearly that on one side is exploitation, and that will, by nature, by definition, causes us to go downward, because that's what trying to enjoy is. And then to decide we're going to avoid all of that terrible reaction to being in the enjoying mood, which includes exploitation of everything that we see here, thinking that it is ours to enjoy. Then if we think that we'll avoid all of that by renouncing it, then this is also, it may be more sober, he says that, but actually through the correct interpretation of the revealed scriptures, then they're seeing that this also, just like exploitation, is not only fruitless, but it's injurious to real progress. So the only answer is for us to take the middle, which is dedication.
And that is a wonderful introduction, by the way. We've also read it many times. And it must be in the ether. Many things are in the ether. But just now, here in Vila Govinda Ashram, we completed, sadly, because it came to an end, Brihad Bhagavatamrita. It's been, we were trying to think when we started, it's been well over a year to read the Brihad Bhagavatamrita on a regular basis. And we came to the end, oh my goodness. And then anyhow, that's another story, but like the gradation of the wonderful land of service, of selflessness, of higher thinking, getting away, and everywhere is showing that we've got to get away from this world of exploitation, putting ourselves at the center, or everything is like this. So the very foundation is looking upwards and not trying to exploit from below. So an amazing book, and we came to the end, but why I mentioned it, to express our joy, also to express our sadness that we can't now keep on going. We thought Krishna may add more pages to the book, and I think he did at some point, because we couldn't leave it. And then came to the end, but now the devotees have decided that, okay, so the next book, which means starting today itself, that they're going to read, and evening by evening, is again Sri Sri Prapana Jivanamritam. Yeah. It's so important for us. And then I was gently shocked when I asked, like one of the devotees, so when's the last time you read it? You know, expecting it's going to be, you know, a few months or something. And they said, oh, I've never read it all. I've read it only bit by bit, like excerpts from it. So if anybody hasn't read Sri Sri Prapana Jivanamritam, like from beginning to end, it's maybe a good time to do so. Kumkumderi's been quoting from it today, as well as Bhagavad Gita, but this introduction that she's given this is where we should really begin a book from the very beginning. And then we come to see, how grand is that book. And in another part there is, what you read is from Srila Guru Maharaj, but there's another part called Prelude or Forward, perhaps, where the glories of Sri Sri Prapana Jivanamritam and its recognition amongst Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples is given. So when we start at the very beginning, and Srila Gurudev said we should start at the first word of the first, introduction, whatever it may be, of the book, then we can understand it's not an ordinary book. Just like the Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book, but we can see something of what we're about to enter into, and each time we're giving our obeisances to the book and to the author, as well as to the readers, etc. But the book, to know what we're reading, it's not just another book. It is actually an essential reading matter for one who wants to surrender. And there too, Srila Guru Maharaj is saying, and because surrender is the very basis of devotion, the sum and substance of devotional service, we should always discuss it. It should always be discussed and considered. So Prapana Jivanamrita is a great treasure. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's secretary, he used to, as a religious duty, read Bhagavad Gita every day. And then when Srila Guru Maharaj produced the Sri Sri Prapana Jivanamritam, then he was so nourished by that. He changed his lifelong daily practice and was reading Sri Sri Prapana Jivanamritam every day. And in what Kumkum Diri was reading just there, Srila Guru Maharaj explaining that by our surrender, by our sincere putting into practice our surrendered life, our devotional life, it will bring us into higher association. And so now, somehow or another, we've done something good somewhere in our past lives, or we've accidentally eaten some Mahaprasadam when we were in any kind of a body, who knows what body we were in. But somehow our lucky stars have favored us, that we've now come into this association of the guidance of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. And Srila Prabhupada means Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and that current, that clean current that has come to the world. And we want to hold on to that and keep it very dear to us. Sometimes we're in a relatively small group in the world, and we really do try to just be with Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. When we're hearing their talks, we try to be as closely as possible, keeping them with us. It's not living in the past, it's keeping our masters in the present with us. And sometimes we feel a little bit like, okay, it's just a feeling, I'm just sharing, that before Mahaprabhu's advent, then there was only a few devotees. There were some that came together, like Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur, and others. Now, we are not in that category. But the whole world was doing so many things, but they would happily come together and chant and discuss, etc., etc. And sometimes we feel a little like that the whole world sometimes seems like it's gone mad. But we've got our, sweet group of devotees, which we are with right now. And we've got our sweet group of devotees, and we can sit happily together and say, let the world go mad, but we'll be happy in the association of each other. So let us keep trying so that Krishna keeps us in good association too. And the opposite, as Guru Maharaj has pointed out in that introduction, the opposite is if we go to exploit and look for the lower energy, we will be taken into lower association. And in the Upadeshamritam, those 6 types of interaction which cultivate loving devotion, loving relationships with the devotees, giving love, loving relationship one for the other. If we, means the giving of gifts, receiving of gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, and accepting prasadam, distributing prasadam, then these 6 items, if they are done with materialistic people, then we will be drawn to get their materialistic qualities. If we do these with the devotees, then this will draw the devotional qualities within each other. So again, we want to keep the association of the devotees and appreciate the devotees. At the very beginning this morning, we're saying Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha cha to each other. And really, I was seeing the screen and you devotees there, and really feeling appreciation for each of you, because really we have to greatly appreciate the devotees who are coming along together, and we hope we can go with them, they can go with us. It's a mutual journey, but the devotees are so important. And then Kumkum began with Machitam and Gata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam. Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. And as some of you may have noticed, we are not all great scholars and learned in Sanskrit and can recite many verses, but there are a handful of verses which are good to learn and good to keep alive, not only the Sanskrit sound, but the meaning. And as Gurudev points out, these the slokas are living, they're not static things. And very vividly pointed out when the diorama in Navadip in Chaitanya Saraswat Math, on that front wall that faces the road, the front wall of the Nath Mandir, when the diorama came out above the sloka of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta saying about how we are the worshippers of Gauranga, we're in the line of Gauranga. We keep on our head the higher Leela of Radha Krishna, the pastimes in Vrindavan and Govardhan. And here in this world with our feet on the ground, we engage in Nama Sankirtan as the means of worship of the Lord. Matala Harijana Kirtana Range, this line. And when that came out, Gurudev was astonished. Vishmaya, Chamatkara, these words that come up all the time in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I mean, really he was. I was with him when he was astonished and sharing his astonishment with me. And I was astonished how astonished Gurudev was. I could understand the astonishment only through Gurudev. Otherwise, I would just be looking at it. Oh, well, I was just looking at it and, seeing through our, eyes. Oh, yes, it's very beautiful. The colors are nice. Oh, he's got a good expression. The artist did a good expression on this face. But no, Gurudev, seeing that sloka is manifested there. So those few slokas sloka means verses that we can catch and remember and repeat, they do have their living life inside us. And there is one sloka which is very important, and it's not boring, and we know that there is so much there, and sometimes get a little hint of this. And that is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And really, we must give attention, the Maha Mantra. Govinda, Govinda. Oh, I see. Now I understand. I thought one devotee is joining us, trying to join us repeatedly, but one devotee is sending messages. I'm getting a little notification in the corner from another app, and I'm not sure. I'm using a different computer. I'm not sure how to turn off those things. Anyhow, now I understand. Hare Krishna. Okay, any question from anybody or anything anyone would like to add? And Kumkum Didi is here with us. She's a question answerer. I'm also can try.
Dandavats Gurudev.
Oh,
Are you okay?
Brindabanesh,
Okay?
yes. You're speaking
Dandavats.
quietly because the family are all sleeping, I
Yes,
know.
kids,
Okay.
everybody is sleeping now. But today, have something interesting, I can say, about our read from the morning, because it's been many years since I read the Ramayana. And today we read that when the demon Ravana kidnapped Sita Devi, then Surya intervened to help her and made the demon take only an illusory form of her. And that was because that was a Brahmana feeling pain, suffering, thinking, oh, Sita Devi is with the demon. And so Mahaprabhu tells him, no, no, no. It was only the illusory form of her. Don't be afraid. Blah, blah, blah. And it made me think that if he could, Surya, could do that, of course, he could have prevented the kidnapping as well. And I've been thinking for this all the day. And the greatest lesson for me, at least, was that we should not intervene in God's plans, because we already know this, but we have the tendency to try to control events and in a totally ineffective way. But it was something that it's in my mind, and I feel that because of that information, it's getting stronger, the let it be feeling for now, at least. So I want to share with you this part of Chaitanya Charitamrita from today.
Yes, very beautiful. Very beautiful. And some of the leelas, some of the stories or leelas that actually take place, they are actually painful for the heart. They're actually painful, but they're there for a reason. And so every one activity in the Lord's pastimes, it has a different purpose. It has different purposes, not just one thing, one purpose. And so all through these pastimes, then we see that the Lord knows the whole picture, the whole purpose. And if this had not happened, then we would also have something missing in our education, if you like, our understanding of the greatness of the Lord's Leelas, that he can do anything, but he lets this and this and this happen. And in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, then he could easily have banished all un-Vedic society from India. But he let it be. And Srila Guru Maharaj made some comment, and this is in, I think, Golden Reflections. It is recorded in one of the books, where Srila Guru Maharaj, he's reflecting on that why Mahaprabhu, he could easily, he's the Lord himself, he could just make all of India Krishna conscious, banish all the negative side, the violence and everything else, and just set everything into pure Krishna consciousness. But Guru Maharaj himself reflected that, okay, Mahaprabhu did not do that. But why? And Guru Maharaj saying, he's showing the insignificance of mundane things in this world, of the mundane environment, and showing through the negative the increased value of the positive. So in two different ways, Guru Maharaj commented, just in conversation, about how Mahaprabhu, he could have done so many things, but it was his choice. Oh, let it be. And he didn't pay attention to the mundane side so much. And this comes up in Chaitanya Charitamrita in various places. And this comes up also in Guru Maharaj's talks, such as in the Golden Volcano, which actually is more or less a study of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the essential points, plus from other sources too. But yes, I can say so many things are ununderstandable. And even now, I mean, not even now, but we've read many times and thought about this with Sita Devi and the whole dramas that took place at that time. And it's amazing, and we really can't understand everything, but we bow down to truth, we bow down to dedication, we bow down to all the examples that are given there. And we mustn't think too much of the mentality of the asuras, because if we think of that mentality, when the brick falls on our head, maybe we'll be an asura too. So we want to think of the mentality of the devotees. Hare Krishna. We were with devotees and we were with some goats the other day. And one of the devotees really having a bit of a conversation with the goat, but on the goat level rather than on the devotee level. And I said, oh, be careful. If you're going to talk with the goat, if you're going to have a goats association, you should give association and not take his association. But you see, Krishna's nature is also very lovable. Goats can be very cute, can't they? Hare Krishna. And a little bit unpredictable. They can show cute and then suddenly come with their horn and give you a butt. So a reminder of the material world. Hare Krishna. The purpose of Ramayana, the purpose of Mahabharata, is to come ultimately to Krishna consciousness. So we are reading Ramayana, we are catching the Ramayana gist and the Mahabharata gist by the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I'm very pleased that you're drawing your understanding of Ramayana from Chaitanya Charitamrita, because there really we're getting the essential points. And for us to get into the intricacies of the Ramayana and the intricacies of Mahabharata, it's all wonderful, it's all intriguing, but the purpose is to try to bring us ultimately to the Krishna conception of love, sweetness, beauty, charm, selflessness to the extreme degree. And we are fortunate, as again this theme of fortunate to have come across this, and through our masters. And just read the purports, see the purports in Chaitanya Charitamrita given by Srila Prabhupada, which he's drawing from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti. He's bringing us their purports, their messages, there in his purports, and telling where he's sharing. So we are not missing anything of the books of the predecessor great acharyas, and rather we are receiving their message in a safe way. And again, every part is important, no doubt, but their main instructions, their main guidance, we're receiving in a safe way through Srila Prabhupada in his purports, in his talks, through Srila Guru Maharaj in his talks and purports, through Srila Gurudev, similarly through his talks and purport. We're getting all of the grand masters that have gone before, and safely. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, you see, we're also getting Ujjvala Nilamani and other books that we don't touch, dear devotees. If you touch, make sure your hands are clean, put it on the high shelf and worship it. That touching we can do, worship on the higher shelf. But don't put any fingerprints inside, as Shruta Shrava Prabhu said to Gurudev. Yes, Gurudev, I have these books. They were given to me, Gurudev. But Gurudev, you won't find my fingerprints anywhere inside those books. Gurudev was very happy about that. One of the many stories Gurudev told when he came back from India, when he came back from touring, when he was on his world tours and came back to India, Gurudev very happily discussing so many things that took place. Hare Krishna.
Please, Gurudev, check the chat. We have some things over there.
Check the. I have to find the chat. Check the chat. Check the chat. Govinda Govinda. And to Braja Bihari Prabhu Dandavat. And to Sophia. Sophia. She's sending Dandavats, and I expect you have a devotee name. I'm not sure. Please excuse, but we're very happy to receive your obeisances and greetings. Lynn is on the phone, and I see she sent me a direct message. Okay, yes, Lynn, drive carefully. First attention when you drive must be to the road. We do have some experience with roads and driving. And Sevarupa Devidas has put this very famous instructions of Srila Gurudev, handwritten guidance. And number one, oh yes, so this is Gurudev's guidance of setting up an ashram, having the facility for the devotees to come together. One, the first on his list was read Sri Gita and holy books regularly. So I expect this is why you put it there, Sevarupa Devirasi, yes? Emphasis on the Gita. As we're here, I'm going to read them all. We can read this every day. It is very important for us. 1, read Sri Gita and holy books regularly. 2, congregational chanting arrangement. 3, not to criticize anyone. 4, think seriously for spiritual life. 5, avoid Vaishnava aparad. 6, follow the 4 directives. 7, be humble, be tolerant, and give honor to others. It's a bit bigger. And then Srila Gurudev writing, try to increase faith of others in the line of Mahaprabhu as directed by Srila Guru Maharaj. The pure current, beautiful. And then Sevarupa has given us the book. So she's given the link directly there for the book Sri Sri Prabhupada Jivanamritam. So if you don't have it, then you please can download from there. It is the book as printed, and it is there directly. It's PDF from just to download readily. And now, Priyanana Devirasi, Dandavat, dear ones, Jai. I do like that expression. Actually, I hear Munindra Mohan Prabhu's voice when I hear this. Italian, English, Dandavat, dear ones. Dear ones, yes. A practical question. Okay. What to tell to good? What to tell to good? Okay, a bit bigger. What to tell to good, righteous persons with high moral standards? Even after a long life of high morality, they start to think, what's the purpose of life beyond the good family, etc.? But be kind is their ideal. How to attract them and not to repel. Or everything comes to them at the appropriate time. Because when I think of saying about love divine, it seems a bit like fanatics' speech. Like, let them be. They're good where they are for now. Maybe I just do not have the necessary realization or courage yet. Hare Krishna. Well, the thing is, every situation is different. But if we would like to be, I was going to say, if we're in a room of good, righteous persons with high moral standards, we'd be very happy to talk with them about Krishna consciousness. But through Mahaprabhu's teaching, and actually we have to approach Krishna consciousness through Mahaprabhu's teaching anyhow, really it has to be, because Mahaprabhu's character was spotless. His character was spotless. And he consciously made his character spotless, if you like. And he would have others go to mingle, to meet those who were not spotless and who therefore, because you're with them, you could be accused too. So he had Nityananda go to some section of society rather than he himself dealing with them. And in Mahaprabhu's dealings, when anything that could be considered as criticizable, he would avoid it. So through Mahaprabhu's character, we can introduce the beauty of love of God. But yes, it is the topic matter of the faithful persons. They have to be given some faith in the Lord, in service to the Lord, that he is all good, all of these things, that he's our guardian, our well-wisher, rather than jumping straight into love of God. And then what to speak of on like a meeting with, for the first time almost, like saying conjugal love with the Lord. And it's right out of the classroom setting for that, or the curriculum, for an introduction. Here's an introduction to the course, and then you're going to say something which is, yes, you could say would be considered as outrageous by somebody who doesn't have an introduction, but divine love, love of the heart. Why not? Waking up, as Guru Maharaj says, what objection can there be to anything which will help promote us to promote us maybe to waking up divine love, our dormant love of God? What objection can there be to that? But we have to know who he is. So appropriate introduction of the topic. But it would be wonderful to sit in a room of complete newcomers who are, as you describe, good, righteous persons with high moral standards. But there, as Srila Guru Maharaj, in his pastimes, in his Leela of coming to Mahaprabhu's mission, he told about Ramayana and about Ramachandra. There he was attracted because of the high moral standard that is fully, openly shown in the perfect example of Ramachandra's conduct throughout. not just on not just, but not the big things that we know about the next day he was going to be coronated, but on his father's directive. He went instead to the forest. Oh, it was all equal to him. Many, many outstanding heartbreaking things took place, but he was righteous, did the right thing always. Guru Maharaj, Srila Sri Ram Maharaj, was attracted to Ramachandra and to these teachings. But when he came to the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, when he came to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he came to read about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, then he gradually came to, or gradually or not, but he came to appreciate Krishna Leela. So when we meet somebody, we do want to give them the substance, but the substance in a suitable way for them. And if we can consider that Mahaprabhu's gift of Krishna, Leela, and love of God, he went everywhere without arranging like a 7-day seminar, to give you the introduction, then the next, and the next thing. But he came to say, you have love of God in your heart. Wake it up by chanting lovingly the names of the Lord. And so many names of the Lord. But in the scripture it is given, and as the Maha Mantra for this age, this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Now in some way we can introduce this, and then let the Maha Mantra work its miracle in the heart of the sincere, righteous, high moral standard persons. Because there is something more than righteousness. And as Guru Maharaj points out too, you may think, oh, I'm a very generous person, I'm doing so much, I'm building a hospital, I'm making it free to the poor so that they can get hospital treatment. But then amongst that, you're helping many people, but also maybe you're helping the gunda, the dacoit, to get better. And when the dacoit gets better, he was going to die, but you helped him get better. Then he goes out and he kills more people and steals more money. You are also part of that. So everything is mixed in this world. So we want to draw from the consciousness of the mundane good and bad to the consciousness of the God-centered necessity of the soul for it to thrive, to live, to grow, to wake up to love of God. And the necessity of the soul is to be selfless, moral, everything, but for the Lord. So taking our vision from the dirt to the divine. So Priyanana, you can do it. You gather, you get such an assembly. Put Gurudev and Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada's feet on your head. 6 feet you can put there. Or any 2 feet you wish. Or any foot you wish there. But their feet, you put there. Think of them. It's not our presentation. We are trying to share their presentation as best we can. We ask them, please let me say the appropriate things. Hare Krishna. Oh, Shyamakante, thank you. So Shyamakante is Sophia. With our respects and affection and, I mean, really appreciation. And we all need strength in devotional life, and may each of us help each other in that regard. Yes, Shyamakant on Facebook. And Mathura Bhakti also sending obeisances from South Africa. She's on Facebook there too. And somebody's microphone is on, so I think someone would like to say a word or two just as we're coming to the conclusion. Was someone's microphone on? Okay, well, dear devotees, Rupanuga Prabhu in Japan, Ishwarananda Prabhu in Sokel Seva Ashram. Well done, Ishwarananda Prabhu. Now, good chance to do 26 hours a day seva for the 9 days of the week that you're staying there in the ashram. So you've got a good opportunity. Oh, it's showing, oh, the temple room. There we are, live. Okay, with the fan on. Oh my goodness. We don't need a fan here just yet. This is a so-called Seva Ashram, and this is the evening Arti. Yesterday, this is yesterday's Arti happening now. Okay, Shranvu, Zoom doesn't do a good job with kirtan, I'm afraid. Not the music kirtan, at least. All right, dear devotees, but with the Hari Katha kirtan, then Zoom, we do appreciate everybody, all the inventors and everything else. For Zoom, may we use their invention in service. And that goes for everything that we come across. whether it's a spoon and a new menu for the Lord, or whether it's high-tech technology, everybody who has a part to play, we have appreciation and we try to use everything in the service of the Lord. All right, so with the backing of Bhagavad Gita, of Sri Sri Prabhupada Jivanamrita, and of our masters, with their backing behind us, may we try to continue in devotional service for a few more days. It's good to keep on going until the end of our life and forever after. They all lived happily ever after. All good stories end like that, don't they? The children's stories. Well, we are children of Krishna. Jai Shri Guru Dev ki Jai, Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, all our Shri Rupanuga Guru Bhaga ki Jai, and to all of you, the present devotees on Zoom, on Facebook, and who are seeing us in any other way. Happy to have you all with us, and Jai to all of you Vaishnavas, and Jai to Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, and all the Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai Shri Bhaktiranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. And Priya Bhakta Prabhu sneaked into our meeting quietly somewhere along the way. Please excuse, I didn't greet you as you entered. And Ananda Sundari also. If I missed anybody, please excuse. We want to acknowledge everyone who is here, of course. Repeated obeisances, have special days. We'll meet you from somewhere else on Sunday, because flying to London, if the airplane will take off in all of this rain and wind, which it will, I'm sure. Flying to London today with Abhinava Sundar Prabhu, Kelly Karamba, and meeting up with devotees there, and we're going to have some mini devotional adventures in London and Northern Europe just very soon. Hare Krishna. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari. Govinda Govinda.